All right, so this is the primary weapon system's UXR. It is a fully modular capable rifle. And what I mean by that is 308 to 5.56, anything in between. So 308 to 7.62x3.9, 5.56, 300 blackout, 8.6 blackout, eventually 6 arc, 22 arc, things like that.
Awesome. Now, with 7.60x39, I saw that you guys have the Rock and Lock lower.
Yes, we do have it does the magwell on this rifle. So you take this trunnion cover off, so these 3 screws have to come out, so your barrel would come out. These 3 screws come all the way out. This trunnion cover slides off after you take the rear of the rifle off. Magwell comes off, and then that AK-47 style magwell takes all this real estate. Then you put your screws back in, change your bolt head, change your barrel to allow those 7.62x3.9, and then it now runs 7.62x3.
Because when you say modular, you mean modular. So the magwell is actually a separate piece to allow you to go from 5.56 to your larger frame 308 to 6.53.
Correct. Yep. So and they do cross over. So obviously our 308 magwell will be the 8.6 magwell, same magwell.
Anything that takes the same magwell.
Exactly. Same thing with the bolt heads. They do all that. We did do something with our bolt head a little bit different. All of our bolt heads are patterned off of a 308 profile, so they're a little bit thicker. And we did that for a couple reasons. One, it makes it easier for our manufacturer, our vendor, to make them. So they can make the blank, they can turn them, then machine them.
That's actually awesome.
And then 2, we also, with some foresight, knew that we were going to want to do 6 arc and some of the higher pressure rounds. And make sure we already had a beefy bolt for that. We didn't want to have a secondary bolt that's different from
I've broken
everything.
like 10 7.60x39 extractors on an AR. So no, I know what you mean. That's awesome. So we're starting out with a 308 bolt and kind of going down from there. Which is a lot more material, a lot stronger. That's awesome. As far as the lower receiver goes, these ship with a Trigger Tech trigger?
It's a Trigger Tech 2.5 to 5 pound adjustable AR-10.
Wow.
It's a little bit different than a normal one, so we actually worked with them. We needed a little bit more hammer rotation, so for it to lay flat as we charge, just you can kind of see how tall this rifle is. It's not real big, so there's not a lot of room. It's very tight tolerance. So they kind of shaved some off for us so it sits flat, so we can run that really easy. That's the only one that we found that's had that so far. But we love their trigger. We like that, that crisp feel of a Trigger Tech. It's always the same. Great reset. And then the other thing we did is most drop-in triggers detent from the top. So you have 2 little screws on the top that go into your receiver. We have a trigger pack very similar to a SIG FCU type thing, right? But this isn't a rifle. It's got the dimensions of a AR M4 lower, so it'll take any mil-spec trigger, any drop-in trigger, anything like that. And the way it detents is we needed those screws to detent up against a little, we have a piece of aluminum in there, it's a little horseshoe, it's a tension bar. So we lock in those trigger pins, normal AR-15 hammer pins, lock those in so you don't get any rotation on the trigger, but you don't have to have anti-rotation pins. We didn't want any holes through the receiver having to do that.
Yeah, so they're captured on the inside.
Yep. And then that's all captured by our safety selector, which slides through that whole system and locks that whole system into the load.
Awesome. Now on the stock itself, we have adjustable cheek height.
Yep, right? 2 position.
And then we have adjustable length of pull, obviously.
Yep, 6
it's
position.
Also folded.
It is also folding, and it is ambidextrous folding.
Really? I didn't know
so you can pull 2 screws. There's 2 screws when you fold it open. So fold it open, you got 2 screws here. You pull those out, flip that over the other way, move your Picatinny the opposite, and it will now fold left.
Very nice. Now, as the Picatinny adapter goes, it's at an angle.
5-degree angle.
If I have some other Picatinny stock for whatever reason that I want to put on there, probably not a great idea just because of that kind of angle.
It'll probably fit really funky. So we have a 5-degree angle, and what that allows us to do on this particular stock is fold underneath our ejection.
Yeah.
We are working on an adapter so that we can be able to use
like
other.
A flat adapter.
Yes, so it's flat, so you can use your normal folding stocks.
Now, talking about the upper receiver, we have a monolithic upper.
Yep, 7075 T6 aluminum.
Awesome. Is it forged or billet?
It is billet.
Billet, okay, that's fine. And then the handguard itself.
6061.
But it's pinned in place. So what is done to maintain rigidity on the handguard?
So how it locks in is it's just like everything else. It's got a tongue and groove.
Okay.
So it actually interfaces with the receiver, a few inches on the receiver, and then locks in back here. And then obviously this is our trunnion system.
Okay.
So it
actually
locks into
the
that.
trunnion.
So it locks, and the trunnion is the backbone of this whole system. So the steel rails that are in with stainless steel rails that go the length of the receiver, so all the way up, right up here, that our carrier rides on, they are torqued in with these 8 trunnion screws, receiver screws. Those are torqued in, Loctited in, and then so everything connects to that, so it's very rigid, very stable. You don't get any movement.
Now the trunnion itself, titanium?
Titanium, grade 5 titanium. It's a MIM part that we then machine.
Okay.
And what that allows us to do is our barrel, just these 3 screws, 80 inch-pounds. It's about 1,200 pounds of clamping force on the barrel, and we have 4 to 4.5 inches of kind of what we consider like a tang, basically, that clamps onto.
Right, so you get a lot of surface area, good repeatability.
Yep.
So for taking our barrel out, putting it back in, I read something that was like half MOA point of impact return?
With the same caliber, so if I did 223 and then went to 308 and came back to 223, as long as I kept my zero, I knew where I was supposed to zero.
Dial your torque back.
Yep, dial them back. As long as you do that and you do the same torque sequence you did before. So if you do 1, 2, 3, you would do 1, 2, 3 again. You should return within a half MOA.
Awesome. So I mean, we're talking like if you wanted to blaze through like a minute, so it's pretty fast.
Just the barrel, is really fast. If you want to do a full conversion, we say about 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's going to be more stuff. So that makes
but you're going to take out the bolt head. You're going to remove the mag well, put the bolt head in, mag well back on, barrel, then you're good to go.
Perfect. Now, talking about the barrel, are we looking at 4150?
Yep, 41B50.
And then we're just a nitride finish?
Yep.
Sweet. Awesome. And that's going to be across the board, or let's say if I want a 6.5 pre-bore, can I get like a 416R stainless steel? That's maybe a little bit more accuracy focused?
Yep, we do have plans to kind of increase our barrel. We make all of our own barrels in-house.
Okay.
You know, we have plans for all those things to be able to do that. Really what we're waiting to see is what the market wants. What does the consumer want? Do they want that? Is that a caliber? Obviously it's a caliber they want, right? But we really want to let the market drive what we do with this platform. It's customizable, it's supposed to be, but we want to make sure we're delivering what somebody wants, not just because we think it's cool, but because that's what they want and they think it's cool. So yeah, stainless steel barrels in the future is definitely a potential. I mean, really anything's potential.
6.8 pounds?
6.85 in the 16-inch 308 and the 556.
Yeah, so it's a relatively very lightweight system for all of the features that you're getting. Now, what about caliber conversion kits? Are they going to be available on launch?
Yes, caliber conversion kits will be available on launch in the 308, 556, and 300 blackout.
Awesome. Perfect.
We will then
and then branch out from there.
Our plan is every quarter to release another caliber and or barrel length or color down the road.
So let's say starting launch, 16-inch guns across the board, or are there going to be shorter options?
16-inch 308, 16-inch 556, 14.5 pendant weld, 300 blackout.
Okay, so no like shorties. We're not looking at like 11.5, 12.5.
We do have a 10.5 inch that will come out. I don't know, sometime after Q1, Q2.
And now one thing about this system is the upper receiver is serialized.
Correct.
So if I buy a 16-inch gun, I can form one SBR and then just swap in a 10.5 barrel, 11.5 barrel, whatever it is.
Yep. Correct.
Perfect. Fantastic.